Welcome to a brand new video. Going American 4.3 liters LS power, baby. I'm actually going to Nakuru. I'm taking a couple of things, as you can see from the junk behind me. There's a brand new construction that's happening in Nakuru. In the process, I'm gonna try and do a bit of a vlog. A lot of you have been requesting this question. I've been seeing on your messages. A lot of you have been requesting me to do this, and I've been asking for my. Look at this fucking idiot, man. Anyway, as I was saying, fucking Rongai buses, man. These people have a bit of air moving over here. Hope it's not going to mess with the sound. I was going to talk about the modifications that you do in any car. I mean, any car. I mean, all of us we like tinkering, we like customized stuff, we like customize our shit. We change the moment you change your wallpaper on your laptop or cell phone or tablet, I don't think you're gonna leave your car stock. I mean, to customize it, to make it personal to you, yeah, sure, you're gonna customize it. So basically, I just want to give a small outline on small things that you can modify. I'm going to categorize this in different, because cars are different. Not all cars are the same. You have your normal cars, you have your sports cars, you have your luxury cars, you have your SUVs, you know, and you have your utility cars like the pickups and the vans and everything. So anyway, let's say typically I'm going to first touch on the normal car. A normal car, like, let's say a Toyota Corolla, from the 90s till present. Most of these cars, they're pretty well designed in terms of aesthetically. I mean, if you look at the lines and everything of these cars, they're well designed aesthetically. The worst cancer that happened to cars, that happened to the car industry and the customizing industry and the modification industry, was the notion that everybody could put a body kit on a car and it's gonna look good. Big bumper, the big side skirts, the rear skirts, and a huge ass spoiler, you know, and some luminous color, you know. To a really old car, it just turns out to look clownish. You just end up looking like a clown. You look ridiculous, and nobody's gonna take you seriously. It's like having a talking watch. You know what I mean? I don't know if I can take anybody seriously who has a talking watch. It's 10:30 p.m. When you keep it simple, a lot less could go wrong. Take for example, one of my best shaped Toyota Corollas is an AE90. Nowadays they're very rare because they're just gone. They just crashed, and I'll be lucky to see even one any day. They're so rare nowadays. So I really like the shape of that car ever since it came out in the early 90s. I really like that shape, and I never thought there's anything I could do to it. For example, a car like that one, if you want to modernize it, just a nice set of wheels. And by a nice set of wheels, I mean not 20-inch rims, not 18-inch rims. You know, you have to look at the wheel to car ratio. I call it a wheel to car ratio. I don't know if there's anything like that exists, but there's some cars which look good with big wheels. There's some cars which look good with small wheels. Because if you have a small car, then you put giant wheels on it, you end up looking like, the car just looks ridiculous. A proper set of rims, like maybe at most 17-inch rims, some nice profile, some nice meaty tires to it, and the car will look really good. And if you accompany that with some nice suspension, like the wheel gap, wheel gap is everything. So if you have zero wheel gap, the better. I don't know how you're gonna drive the car, but I always say have at least 2 thumbs like this. That's enough wheel gap. It should give you enough travel so that you don't have rubbing issues and everything. But anyway, it's up to anybody. But for me, typically, that's how I like my cars. I like my cars to have minimal wheel gap. Bodywork, keep the stock lines, keep the stock bumpers, keep the stock side skirts, the normal boot lid, like a lip spoiler or something. There are 2 things anybody who knows how to customize cars knows about: the window tints and the wheels. Any car, it might have the shittiest bodywork, it might have some dings, some scratches, some faded paint, but if that car has a very nice tinted package, very nice tint package, and a very nice wheel and tire combo, you'll overlook all the other shit. Now I'm gonna touch on the luxury cars. Clearly, when you're talking about a luxury car, it's something which has to be a bit big. From the E-Class. From the E-Class, yeah, you get into the luxury market. It's kind of big. There's a statement to it. So when you're driving an E-Class, it's good to have wheels. The wheels really stand out on those cars. So the car is a big body. It has a big body. So if you put giant, we're not really giant, but 18 to 19 inch wheels, fill up those guards pretty good, and it won't really look ridiculous. See, with German cars, I like when German cars have less flashiness, more, not really bland, but more dark, like a more darkish tone to them, like less chrome, but more black and more something uniform. Not really a lot of contrasting colors and everything. So typically, like, you have an E-Class, you have some nice 18 inch, some nice meaty tire. And apart from that, like going back to the normal pedestrian cars, since there's not really much you can do in terms of performance, on a nice music system, a nice music system, accessorize the car in a nice single din or a double din. My friends have done, a couple of my pals have done that same thing, and that's a mod I'd really like to do one day if I put my mind into it. Like, it's pretty crazy. There's a friend of mine, he's integrated his phone, his diary, his events, his text messages. They can be read through the speakers, and it's pretty awesome actually. And that's a car which was made in the 90s and the early 2000s, but it has the same features as the car which was made in 2016. So it's pretty awesome. The last car I'm gonna tackle is sports cars. Let's say performance cars. And this one is a big debate because everybody has their own style of how they do their cars. Everybody has their own philosophies. I mean, everybody wants to be unique, but you can be unique. You can't really. Everybody has individualism. Everybody can be an individual. They can do whatever they want. You can't really replace bad taste with individualism. Most sports cars which come into Kenya are from the Japanese market. I mean, you have the Subarus, you have your Mitsubishis, you have your Toyota. Okay, Toyota really don't have any sports car to speak about nowadays, apart from the 86 and 123 guys have. The modification path to these cars tends to be very tricky and trivial. So this is just a general path of, and according to my opinion of what I would do. So just think for a second that I don't have a Subaru. Yeah? I have a Subaru myself, and I've taken a very unconventional path to tuning it because it wasn't really a sports car to begin with. I actually made it into a sports car. Let's just imagine I have an Evo. I've spent a lot of money importing it into the country. It's a second hand, of course. It has like 50,000 kilometers on the clock, and I want to modify it. I mean, I've driven it around, and because everybody nowadays can't stay stock, there's this term that says life is too short to stay stock. I want my car modified. So, and I don't know where to start. I don't even have a budget. I don't have any aside for it. All I want to do is just make the car unique to me. If you're lucky enough to get the car and it's already been modified from Japan, well and good for you. Probably if it's a Japanese market, it cuts at 180, which is really annoying when you have a fast car like an Evo. I mean, you hit 180 in no second. I mean, you don't even need a lot of distance. You don't even need you only need 4 gears and you're at 180. So it really can really suck. So typically what I would do is, first of all, is try and make the car suit my daily needs, like in terms of driving, in terms of comfort, in terms of what I would like the car to do. So a nice tint job, a nice tint package is good. Performance. So this is where I'm gonna get really specific on what I'm gonna say, because when it comes to performance, everybody has their own philosophies, how they do things. Everybody has their own technique, how they do things. So I'm gonna say the first thing you're gonna do before you put an exhaust, before you put a blow-off valve, before you put a bigger turbo, before you put an intake and filter and all that shit, first thing you're gonna do is log the car. Right now, I mean, 10 years ago, that's unheard of in this country. Like it's only guys who are in competition who knew about logging, like rally guys and all those guys. But nowadays there's a lot of open source software. Nowadays there's a lot of cheap software you can buy. I mean, for Evos there's a software called EvoScan. That shit costs $25 and it does a lot. It's peanuts for what it can do. It's peanuts. If it's a sports car meant for the Japanese market, it was tuned for the Japanese market, and as we know, the fuel in Japan is much better than what the shit we have. Manure, we have just bringing them back to factory power, it's gonna cost you more than actually making more horsepower of a factory. It's good to lock the car. Once you lock the car, you'll know exactly what's going on. If the car is knocking, you'll know if the car is pulling timing, you'll know if the car is actually running, you'll know the car is not running as optimum as it's supposed to be. We've reached a point in Nairobi nowadays, we have a lot of people who can do this. The knowledge base is really growing. There used to be 1-2 people, but nowadays you have at least a lot of people who have the knowledge and they know how cars operate and they know what these cars need. Because you want power, you want more response and everything from your car. Speaking from an Evo standpoint, an Evo is the power on a factory. Evo is more than anybody could ever need on the street, especially when you're talking about Nairobi. 280 horsepower, 300 bhp, it's too much. I mean, it's enough to get you in trouble. I always say power that's enough to get you into not really tiny trouble, but big trouble is more than enough. Never have enough. Everybody, we are all human beings. You can never have enough. Problem I have a trait, and most of my close friends, I get bored very quickly. Like my attention span is like a 4-year-old. It takes a lot for me to keep me engaged into something. Before you think about buying an exhaust, before you think about putting a bigger turbo, before putting a blow-off valve, have the car locked. Once the car is locked, you can now set some money aside for a tune. Tunes in Kenya range from 20,000 to 80,000, depending on your platform, depending on how much work you need to be done, depending on, depends on who you know really. My prices range from 15 to 25,000, depending whether if you want dyno time or you want to do a road tune. Road tunes are cheaper, of course. Dyno time is expensive because you have to pay for the dyno. So it depends on your setup. If your car's a lot of work, it has injectors that need to be done, it has an intake, all that stuff, the price is going to double. The car typically is knocking. What we usually do is reduce the timing. I don't want to really get into a lot of details because this is just a normal layman's video. Thinking of doing a small tuning tutorial and introduction and everything later on in the channel. Ignition timing is what really causes these engines to fail. Ignition timing is what determines what type of fuel you can use. Vehicle, we have V-Power and we have avgas. Avgas is aviation gasoline and it's used for piston engine aircraft, which is very high octane and it prevents a lot of knock. Like I don't know if any of you use the charcoal for cooking. There used to be this charcoal you'd get, it will burn really nicely, like it will light up really nicely, it will burn evenly, it will stay forever without you needing to replenish it. Charcoal you'd get, that stuff is as if it was laced with fireworks and TNT and a dynamite inside. I don't know, some ridiculous charcoal which you can't even stay close to the damn thing, like pa, 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 pa. So that's how Kenyan fuel is. Kenyan fuel is that charcoal which it can't have a stable combustion. It has to just have a lot of drama in how it operates and everything. When you have high octane fuel burns controllably. And you can run a lot of ignition timing, you can run a lot of boost, you can run a very, very lean air fuel. When you have low octane fuel, you can't really run a lot of timing and low boost. And that's not fun. You didn't buy a car just so that you can make it slow. The naturally aspirated cars suffer from the same fate. They suffer from the same problem. Tuning is like a tattoo artist. Everybody has their own style. The fundamentals are the same, but everybody has their own style in which they achieve power, in which they achieve reliability, in which they make the engine more efficient. I would actually just Evos they don't really run. The Evos compared to Subarus, they don't really run a lot of timing compared to Subarus. Evos run a bit more less timing and a lot of boost. Subarus run a bit low boost and a lot of timing. So the philosophies are different, but the fundamentals are the same. Then you have to think about an exhaust. You think about all that depends with your budget. If you're gonna budget thousands of dollars, you can go for the big name brands. Because if you're on a budget and you want something really decent, people always think that if you're on a budget, the only thing you deserve is shit. Now that's not really true, because well-designed budget exhaust systems that you can buy online that actually really work on your car. There's nothing really special about it. The only thing that comes maybe is the sizing and the fitment and the design. Here in the dollar range, to $50 to $10 range, you can get a decent exhaust. Not really a full exhaust, but just a downpipe and a mid pipe, something nice for your car. Or you can go full custom and do it from scratch. For a performance car, the lighter the wheels, the better. On my car, the lightest wheels I've ever had were Oz Ultra Legeras. I'll show you, there's a picture I'll show you on the, I think you've seen it now. Yeah, Aussie Ultra, they're really light. mean I can use my pinky finger to lift one of those wheels. So I like them. I got them secondhand, but they're pretty awesome. But Advan TC3s, they were pretty expensive, and I broke 2 of them, and it was one of the saddest day of my life. Like, I had a tear just. Okay, I broke 2 of them at once, and it was typically they were written off. There's no way you can repair them. It would be stupid to repair them. So I remained with 2 which are still in my house, and I just keep them and remember about how I used to have nice wheels. But I like the Aussies and up and above. So I mean, things happen for a reason. I mean, you never know. So that's it. I don't know if there's anything I've left out in terms of modification and customizing your vehicles in Kenya. If there's anything I left out, feel free to write in the comment section below. I'm trying very hard to read all your. Please, it'd be easier for you if you write in the comment section instead of messaging me, because it's so hard. I rarely go on Google Plus, and Google Plus I find it really useless. So I like reading the comments. When I read the comments, I get a first-hand account on what you guys are talking about. You're getting a first-hand account on your opinions on my videos and everything. So you'd rather write in the comment section below. It'd be easy for me to notice the comments and read them and respond to them, and possibly put your suggestions in my next videos. So cheers, guys, and make sure you subscribe. Cheers. That is so light.
It's a cool LCD, man.